I welcome you to episode 2 with a question. Is faith, Faith, greater than good? We could debate that from here to eternity. But to me, the answer is no. It's not that I'm knocking faith. Faith is so very important. Without faith, there's no hope. But I say no to the question of whether faith is greater than good, because I think I can prove that for faith to succeed, there must be good. But I can't prove that for there to be good, you must have faith. A person without faith can still do good or be considered good, intentionally or not. But faith's going nowhere without some good action to pave the path. Somebody did something good or something good happened, however you put it, for faith to get through. Otherwise, you're just another martyr. So I see where there can be at least the possibility of good winning out, prevailing without faith. But I don't see any possibility of faith winning or prevailing without good. That's why I say good comes first. But then here's a complexity. You do good because you have faith that good will happen and save you. So you have to have faith that good will prevail. To me, that's just more proof that faith needs good to prevail or happen for faith to prevail. Faith rely on good, but good doesn't have to rely on faith. Good doesn't need faith for good to prevail. This is because good can occur by chance or accident in the absence of faith. Good can be random, but faith can't. By the way, make sure you read or listen to episode 8 on the importance of randomness. But for now, let's go back to episode 1 and John Lewis. I think we can agree that John Lewis was a man of faith. So what if we say he walked across that bridge that first time because of his faith? Does that mean he overcame his fear because of faith? Faith that he would be okay, that he would be somehow protected? What it would have meant really was him having faith that good would prevail. Again, faith that good would prevail. It is our belief or assumption that he feared death, that he had to overcome that fear. If he did not fear death, there is no fear to overcome, then that means he wasn't brave. He just didn't give a damn. Someone else who walked that bridge with John Lewis could have been an atheist and had no fear. But that someone could also have been a believer in some religion or whatever, but had no faith, say, about not being harmed. But to knowingly walk into danger with no fear or concern whatsoever is not human. There are people like zealots, religious or otherwise, who have no fear to overcome. But such people are crazy. I'm laughing, but if you think about it, such a person must be on drugs or otherwise in some trance or must have a mental deficiency with respect to logic. Logic points to self-preservation. So if you have no fear to overcome when you risk your life for something, it's because you are literally crazy and the danger does not register. A suicide bomber who is not on drugs overcomes fear through false beliefs. Believing that a higher power wants you to kill others because they are evil is a false belief, because you are making not just yourself, but that higher power into an instrument of something that simply cannot be considered good. You are making the higher power you worship into an instrument of death or vengefulness or evil even. It's doing evil in the name of faith or religion, as have occurred so often throughout mankind's history. Because taking any life, even your own, as in someone considered a martyr, can perhaps be considered justifiable in certain circumstances if it's to directly save another life or lives. But being justifiable does not mean it's good, no matter what Google search says, because the end never justifies the means in a world of good. Hey, keep listening and you'll know or get to understand why I say that. Until next time.